The Today Show premieres on NBC, and it's still on, making it one of the longest running TV series in the US of A. The United States B-52 Strato Fortress flies for the very first time, and the ocean liner SS United States, which was and still is the fastest ocean liner of all time, makes its maiden voyage across the Atlantic. The year is 1952, and this was Dodge's hardtop car offering, the Cornet Diplomat. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that digs the different and unique cars that never got coverage. History, specs, design. We post between 4 and 5 episodes each week, with engine episodes generally on Wednesdays. If any of that sounds of interest to you, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. If you have a cool, underappreciated, overlooked, lost, and mostly forgotten car in your personal collection, perhaps maybe you're affiliated with a museum that has cool cars, drop me a line at what_it's_like at a lost and obscure to most web provider that you found in the alleyway behind Mr. Pizza. If you know, you know.com if interested. 1952 Dodge model lineup was broken down into 3 models on 2 wheelbase configurations. The Wayfarer rides the smaller 115-inch wheelbase, whereas the Meadowbrook, which was their 4-door sedan, as well as the Cornet, rides on the longer 123.5-inch wheelbase chassis. Dodge also had a truck line going from half-ton all the way up to the big commercial. Dodge would offer the Cornet from 1949 through 1959 as a full-size car, coming back in 1965 through 1976 as a mid-size car. It was offered in 7 generations, but it's worth pointing out the Cornet name was used for Dodge Diplomat during the 1980s. In the Argentina market, 1952 was the final year for first generation, which was produced from 49, 50, 51, 52. The 52 Cornet could be had as a 2-door club coupe, 2-door convertible, 4-door 6-passenger sedan, 4-door 8-passenger limo, Cornet Sierra 4-door wagon, and Cornet Diplomat 2-door hardtop. The Diplomat hardtop was Dodge's first hardtop car, and why they chose Diplomat as their name is anybody's guess. But during this era, car companies had names for their special roofs that they called hardtops, which were pillarless. Newport was code for Chrysler's hardtop, Bel Air for Chevy, Victoria, Ford. Then eventually hardtop would trickle down and be offered on all makes. For those that don't know what's so special about a hardtop versus a sedan has a post behind the front seat, which makes the car stiffer. The doors have frames. A lot of times the glass isn't framed out, but sometimes it can be. Hardtops, there isn't a pillar that is directly behind the front seat. The doors do not have frames, but they do have a frame or trim around the glass usually. When all the windows are down, there isn't a post to break the lines. It just flows. Ever see a 4-door hardtop? Which are the coolest 4-door cars ever made? From far away, it looks like a 2-door, and that's why they're so cool, in my opinion. More doors, more fun. Anyway, the Diplomat was modeled after the Chrysler Newport. Let's talk specs. 206.87 inches long, 74.37 inches wide, is 65 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 123.5 inches. It weighs 3,460 pounds. Price, $2,620, which is equivalent to you spending $31,051.35 in the year 2024, according to J.D. Powers. Total 1952 Dodge production was 206,000 units. Moving on to engine. Only one engine on offer, 230 cubic inch displacement flathead inline 6, 3.8 liters. It's good for 103 horsepower, 3,600 RPM, 190 pound-feet, or 258 newton meters at 2,400 RPM with a bore of 3.3 inches and a stroke of 4.3 inches. Compression is 7-to-1 for main bearings. When backed with the fluid drive transmission, 0 to 60 was 23.1 seconds with a theoretical top speed of 81 miles an hour while achieving an average between 13.4 and 15 miles to the gallon. This 1952 Dodge Cornet is currently for sale at John Kufleitner's over in Salem, Ohio, where they have this car and a ton of other really cool classic cars that you don't really see every day. To check out their extensive inventory as well as get the full scoop, more pictures, pricing, and information pertaining to this very car, this 1952 Dodge Cornet Diplomat, be sure to click the link below after the show.
Let's talk styling. Headlights, look at those massive bezels that goes around the headlights. All done in stainless. Turn signal indicators. Bumpers with 2 bumperettes and or overriders. Dodge nice and proud on the hood. Block formation. Notice it comes to a point right here at the nose. Dodge crest. Ram mascot. This car does have a center line. It goes back towards the split windshield with windshield wipers that oppose each other. There is this bright piece that comes back to about 2/3 of the door. Cornet Diplomat badge right there. Fenders are not flared, but they're just kind of like rolled underneath. This car does have rocker molding. This car also has a cowl vent in the center. Bright work around the windshield. I love the two-tonedness of this car. It's like a creamish color with almost like it's like a blue or a graphite gray. It looks different in different lights. But as you can see, there's strip rails in the front, and then they come down the side, and then they curve. Also take a look at the bright work here and here. This car has a split rear glass, 3 pieces, and it's curved. Rear gravel guards, as well as more bright trim the back here. Gas filler is on the driver's side. Back bumpers are different than the front bumpers, and the overriders and or bumperettes are placed in different locations as well. Backup lights. Dodge nice and proud there. The center of the trunk block formation, underlined this time. And while we're back here, we might as well get in the trunk. But before we do, take a look at the pinstriping. License plate light. This is a good sized trunk, all things considered. This one comes with memorabilia, which is really cool. Sometimes getting the advertisement pieces is just as nice as collecting the stuff for the cars. Full-size spare. Before getting inside, just look at this plate, all the different textures. Door handle has a bunch of different textures going on, as well as pinstriping. This door has a nice quality feel to it. Up here, painted metal. Down here, feels like a vinyl material. Carpet at the bottom. Armrest, door handle to get out. Window crank for the big window, which operates like this. Notice it's all framed. And it has this channel. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, high beam switch, clutch, brake, gas pedal. Just take a look at this interior, which is said to be original. Here is what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood would look like.
On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. Amp meter, gasoline gauge, speedometer with odometer just below it, oil pressure, coolant temperature, AM radio, clock, air fan, defrost, winter, hot, summer off, cool, key, lighter, headlights, panel lights, windshield wipers.
Up above, there are sun visors, and they're pretty big. Rear view mirror here in center. Notice it's oval. Another sun visor over here for the passenger. Underneath the steering wheel, I got tons of space to put mine. I got tons of space to put my hand between my lap and the steering wheel bottom. And the only reason I show that is because it don't fit in the car. It's not fun to drive the car. On to the glove box test. Here is our test subject. Here is my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. Absolutely massive, massive glove box. And it shuts. Getting in the rear. Seat folds forward like that, giving you that much access to get in the back. Here is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse, or the pillar to glass ratio in this car. This is what visibility looks like out the back from the back seat. There is a nice parcel shelf behind the rear seat. Let's talk about the seat back profile. It's really comfortable in this car. It is slightly reclined. The seat back does not dip down in the back, so it's super comfortable. This is what knee situation looks like. Creature comforts back here. This is for the light switch, which is in the pillars here. There's a light there, as well as a light over here. There is an ashtray. The windows do go up and down back here. They operate like this. Just look at how cool that is. And look at how it comes up. Like, look at how it anchors itself down. That's so cool. That's so cool. There are armrests on the panel itself, as well as armrests over here for the passenger side on the panel itself. The floor is relatively flat. There is a little bit of a transmission tunnel, but it's not huge. Getting under the hood. Hood releases right back in here. Push it away from you. There is a secondary catch. So notice it's got two massive trumpet horns that are aiming right down. The heat box is in the front. 6-volt battery. 6-cylinder that sits way. That's just way down inside. Generator. Oil filter is in that canister there, so it's outside the box. Yes, outside the block, oil filtration. And this is all heat box ventilation for the heater. I'm assuming they put the heater clear out here. Maybe they were thinking they would get better fresh air.
On the positive side, spacious both front and rear, huge glove box, easy to read gauges with full instrumentation. Engine is bulletproof, first Dodge hardtop against it, not much. Some people don't like the fluid drive transmission. Alright, now it's time for Would You Rather, disc brakes or drum brakes, cable clutch or mechanical clutch, power steering or Armstrong steering. Two scenarios today. In these may or may not be in the same price point, but which one would you rather have? 1952 Chevrolet Bel Air or 1952 Dodge Diplomat or 1952 Ford Victoria? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario, 1952 Nash Country Club or 1952 Dodge Diplomat or 1952 Kaiser Henry J. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Take that, Dennis! No, you'll probably get that one. But anyway, thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. Or if you have Facebook, we have a Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel and it gives you the opportunity to share anything that's car related. So be sure to check that out if you're interested. If you don't have Facebook or not interested in it, you can always send me an email at what_its_like@yahoo.com. Thanks again for everything. Until next time, toodaloo!